185, though, doesn't have confusion. We have a champion. We have an active champion, a guy that loves to fight, a guy that will fight anyone, and a guy that constantly surprises us, right? Finishes Israel Adesanya, beats Sean Strickland again, even worse than he did the first time. Very active guy, knocked out Robert Whittaker. Kevin Ioli's reporting that Dricus du Plessis, our champion, is hurt, and that the fight versus Khamzat Chimaev is likely off, right? That was supposed to be International Fight Week, or it looked like it was going to be International Fight Week. But what do you do at 185 now if the champ's hurt?
And you'll have no risk of me saying that. And the reason you can't do it is just because if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Let's not forget, this is Dricus du Plessis' first time having to call in with something that's going to delay.
Yes.
Khamzat Chimaev has done that off the top of my head 4 times. There's been 4 separate situations where he's had to pull out of a contest. So if it's getting stuck in his ear, turnabout is fair play. I would like a little bit more information. I understand why guys keep illness and injuries private. But right now, Khamzat Chimaev is supposedly going to wait.
When it comes to the champion, though, the interim title, especially back in the day, was... I watched Cain Velasquez one time be hurt for 15 months before they made Fabricio Verdum fight for the interim championship. It was that long. I watched when Frankie Edgar became the interim champion, when Max Holloway became the interim champion. The champions were gone for a long time. Dricus du Plessis is active. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do know he fought in February. That's when he beat Sean Strickland. The fight before I was there, that had to be in the fall, where he beat Israel Adesanya. Then when he beat Sean Strickland in Canada last January. So over the course of the last 15 months, Dricus du Plessis has fought 3 times. He's won the belt. He's defended the belt twice. That in itself tells me we don't need an interim champion. I get that Kyle Borralho is like, hey, interim title fight versus Khamzat Chimaev. Because these guys are like, I want to get my hands on a belt so that when I do fight for the championship, I'm sharing in the revenue. I get it. I understand. But there has to come a point where a guy can not have to worry about an interim champion if he fought 3 months ago. Chael, when John Jones beat Cyril Gane, he hadn't fought for what, a year and a half? Before they made Tom Aspinall fight Sergey Pavlovich for the title? You can't just keep rolling out interim championships. It's a bit too confusing to the consumer. Well, who's the champ? Because right now it feels like Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the world. To me, it does. John Jones is still the baddest man on the planet to the people that know. But in terms of like who's more active and who's more like, I want to fight, that would seem to be Tom Aspinall. You know, Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev was going to be, or likely, the main event of International Fight Week. Chael, you and I both know. The UFC schedule, there are key dates. It's January, right around in the beginning of the year. There is a fight card around the Super Bowl. There is International Fight Week. There is now Noche UFC. There is the New York show. There are big dates every single year. One of those dates is International Fight Week, and every year it's big. But if that fight's off, Chael, we are 9 weeks away. 9 weeks with no main event. Generally, the promotion would have already started to ramp up for that because people going to Vegas. You have UFC X, you have the meet and greets. Who is going to main event this fight card, Chael?
I think they got it, by the way. I think they got it, and there's something coming. There's something that's done, and the announcement is coming with Aspinall and Jones. I don't know the date.
Come on.
I thought they were going to take those boys to New York. I'm only suggesting for you, we do have some big things in the chamber that are still getting ready to come. By the way, partner, Easter is behind us, but you set down a whole bunch of eggs right there. You mentioned Kyle has challenged for an interim title. Chimaev,
he was
that happened. I didn't read that
Khamzat
headline, but I love that idea.
Yeah, they're all fighting. Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Kyle Borralho versus Chimaev that's one of the great ideas that I've heard in a meaningful amount of time. And the winner draws into Dricus du Plessis. I cannot tell you how on board I am with that fight, but I read all the headlines. That one slipped past me. I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
It was all nice and clean when you had Khamzat and Dricus. Then you do Borralho y Mavov. Everything is clean. But now it's a bit muddy and it's like murky. So who deserves to be in that fight, right? Is it Hamzat? Can we agree it needs to be Hamzat versus either a Mavov or Borralho?
Yeah, well, we would agree that if there's an interim title or any kind of a title, that it involves Cosmic Chimaev.
So, Chael, are you breaking news right now that Jon Jones is fighting Tom Aspinall at International Fight Week? Are you confident enough to say that you think that's what's happening?
No, I am confident enough to tell you that that fight is done, though. That fight is agreed all the way down to the date. That I do have a confidence to tell you. International Fight Week would make perfect sense. I personally, just in my heart, I always thought they were going to go back to New York.
Jones said he needs 4 months. Now you're going to do it.
I'm telling you, this Jon Jones business, Jones will say a lot of things to the media. When he gets that phone call, here's the guy you're fighting. Do you understand? Yes. And that is what he will say. All the other reports are not true. Jon has come out. He's been a troll. He's had some fun. He even tried to negotiate in the media. Privately, he takes that phone call. It's yes or anything else that comes out of his mouth. Any answer that's not yes is not yes. But that did not happen. That is a false report. Jon Jones has not ducked this fight. I wish he did. I'd love to bury him. He didn't. He did not duck Tom Aspinall.
You know what's the best thing about all this? Like, we have a lot of questions. And that's interesting. When there are a lot of questions, it makes for an interesting time in mixed martial arts. But I do hope that we get some answers here relatively quick, because International Fight Week is coming up on us in no time.
Wouldn't it be nice if he came and broke that here with us? You and I, two of his
what
great
in the world would it take
allies,
to get us?
if he came on this show and broke that news, wouldn't that be nice of Jon Jones?
What would it take for Jon Jones to come on this show?
What would it take?
Break his next fight? I'll make. Let's make some
who do
calls
I
today.
ask, by the way? Is Malky still his manager? Who's overseeing Jon?
I mean, I don't know, man. A team? There needs to be a team always. Hey, one time Jon and I were arguing, and I looked at his publicist, and I pointed to her, and I go, "You have the worst job in history." I said, "I feel sorry for you." I go, "I feel sorry that you're tasked with trying to keep this psychopath under control." And he's sitting there like, just so mad at me. Because the one thing about Jon is, like, Jon isn't the best with his words. So you and I could talk circles around him. He just wanted to kill me. I could see in his mind, if he had a gun, he would shoot me. The
publicist, was it that woman?
Yes, poor gal.
That poor gal turned out to be a rock star. They made a movie about her life. That girl is like a star in the world of PR. But go ahead.
It was so funny, dude. She just became a reoccurring character in our beef because I would just attack her like, "Well, what do you have to clean up this week?" It was awesome.